if we were to put in place something that was a restriction at 3 times, we would restrict more than half the mortgages that are currently being underwritten today. And that would not just slow the housing market, it would reverse the housing market. It would have implications for the recovery, and it would do too much in our judgment. You know, we're in place, the FPC, the Bank of England, we're in place to worry about these risks. That's what we spend all our time thinking about.
Governor, looking at house prices on the whole, it's a sad fact that the average family who earn an average wage, some of them cannot afford an average price house in this country. Does that concern you?
It absolutely concerns us. There are deep structural problems in this housing market. They relate to the fact that, unfortunately, not just this year, but for the past decade and the decade before that and years to come, there's just not enough houses that are built in the United Kingdom. And so supply has to change. The Bank of England's not going to build a single house, and so what we have to do is to treat or alleviate the symptoms of that underlying problem. I think it's widely acknowledged that there needs to be about 250,000 houses built in this country every year in order to meet the underlying demand for houses. And we'll be lucky if this year, even after a sharp increase in the number of houses, we'll be lucky if over the next year 150,000 houses are built.
How can ordinary people plan financially if the man at the top, that's you, keeps changing his mind?
No, we're giving clear signals. First was that we were not going to raise interest rates, even think about raising interest rates, until this recovery really had steam. Now it does. Until unemployment is 7%. We've gone through that. That's great news. There's almost 750,000 jobs have been created over that period. Good news. Now we're in a position where, as the expansion continues, the question is what's going to happen to interest rates. And what we're telling people across the country, business people, homeowners, people thinking about mortgage, is that we expect interest rates are going to start to increase. We can't tell you exactly when, but what's most relevant, if you're taking out a 25-year mortgage, if you're investing in a new business, if you're taking out a loan for a new appliance or something, is where are interest rates going to go over the medium term? They're not, in our view, the view of the Monetary Policy Committee, they're not going to go the levels they did in the past, and they're going to go there slowly, limited and gradual increases in a way that ensures that this expansion continues and that inflation remains under control.
So let's talk about interest rates in a bit more detail. The market currently suggests that interest rates will rise maybe at the beginning of the next year, and we're looking at small, steady increases to around 2.5%. Is that a prediction that you're comfortable with?
Well, I think let's go to the resting place, to about that 2.5% level in about 3 years' time. That's about half the historic average of interest rates. That's consistent, broadly consistent with our message, which is that they will be gradual and limited increases. In terms of the precise timing of when we start, as we sit here today, I don't know exactly when we're going to start because it's going to depend on how the economy evolves in the near term. The good news is that there's a lot of momentum in the economy. The economy is growing, fastest growing economy, major economy. The slightly less good news is that we have not yet seen wage growth pick up. Now, we expect that to start to happen, and we'll be watching those two relationships and many others in making that determination.
I must ask you on savers. Saving's been very difficult for a lot of people who rely on their income, savings income. Are they going to have a better few years ahead? What's your message?
Well, the prospects for that are much better than they were when I got here a year ago. Because of the recovery, because we're moving into an expansion, we are now having this conversation, a welcome conversation about the start of normalizing interest rates, the start of raising interest rates, the start of giving savers some small return, and I recognize it's a small return, for the hard work that they've done to set aside money.